Welcome to episode 218 of Your Career Podcast. Welcome back to Your Career Podcast. I'm Jane Jackson, your host, and I'm on a mission to inspire you to take control of your career by providing career guidance, inspiration, and advice so you can create the career of your dreams. I've been providing career coaching to individuals and to large organizations across Australia, the UK, USA, Singapore, and Hong Kong for almost 20 years, and honestly, I love to make a difference in your life. So hop over to thecareersacademy.online and find out all of the resources that I have to support you in your career. Many of them are free, so just click and download and enjoy. Now, let me introduce my latest guest to Your Career Podcast. Gunnar Habitz is a social selling advocate dedicated to advancing digital and social media as the highest performing customer engagement channel. From Daimler in Germany and HP in Switzerland to Hootsuite in Australia, Gunnar is now the Senior Partner and Alliance Manager, Asia Pacific, for Hootsuite. He's passionate about the transformation of modern workplaces to embrace new ways of collaboration. Cloud-based tools, mobility, and artificial intelligence enable these trends. Gunnar consults with and guides his audience as a trusted advisor along the change journey to prepare for a connected tomorrow. And let's welcome Gunnar to Your Career Podcast. Hi, Gunnar. How are you?
Hi, Jane. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting to interview you for quite a while because you've had one of the most interesting career journeys that I know, and you've changed country and you've changed job function and you've made some big changes and brave changes too. But let's kick it off with what your early career aspirations were when you were a little boy.
So when I've been a boy, I've been fascinated by technology and sharing the experience to others. So actually, I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to teach and train others.
Okay, so teaching. Well, you kind of teach and train now when I think about it, because, with your amazing networking and social selling that you're the advocate for at Hootsuite, it's you're really training people how to become good at expressing themselves online, yes? So what happened from your early career aspirations of wanting to be a teacher? How did you transition into this interesting engineering and then sales and then the digital social selling space? Because the whole journey from Germany to Switzerland to Australia is a fascinating one.
Yes, indeed. And it was step by step. So then I studied computer science in Germany, where I had the chance also to work as tutor. So then for 3 years, I've been training the generation just after me, 1 year, 2 years after me, so that they can also get the best experience inside of this one. And fascinated by technology, then I've been working in data centers. I got the real day-to-day experience. I've been even very early in technology. So then I helped to create the early intranet at Mercedes-Benz back then in the 90s. And then I had the chance to work as a solution consultant at HP in Switzerland. That was an outstanding move in end of 99, before the year 2000 topics that happened back then. And then inside of HP, with 300,000 people, there was always something else what I would be interested in. And I had the chance of a nice journey inside the organization.
Yeah, because you held quite a number of roles within HP, because when I have a look at your LinkedIn profile, you were technical pre-sales and then category marketing manager and then business development manager and then channel sales manager and then enterprise sales manager. So you really had a stellar career within HP. And so what was it that prompted you to make a change from there?
So within HP, within 16 years, you're right. So there were different roles that came up, and it has been such a pleasure when normal people would buy a laptop for private, not only for corporate, that I got the chance to be the product manager for the whole country, that I've done for 6 years, from a junior into a senior position and grow further. And as I always had a sales approach in my product marketing activities, so then I moved into sales management. I led a region of Central Eastern Europe I had 32 people in my team across 29 countries. So I've been always curious to explore different type of cultures. And it's great if you learn how to work in a mature country like Switzerland and adopt it into the more emerging region of countries like in Kazakhstan or in Ukraine or in Poland. So that was fantastic. But after a while, I thought there are other regions which are interesting as well, like in Asia Pacific. So then I figured out what can be done. And at that time, HP split into two companies. On one side, HP Inc., they were PC printers. The other side, Hewlett Packard Enterprise. So then out of a sudden, my management role, which was basically sitting in between, got redundant. The role, not me. And that was the start of a journey to think by myself, what actually can I do as the next step? Where and what? And maybe something different.
Yeah, this is what's so interesting. It comes up as a common thread so often that with the people that I interview who've made big career changes, it usually is because of organizational restructure or downsizing or a merger and acquisition that a role may be made redundant, and perfectly talented people who they would like to retain end up going through a redundancy. And that so often my clients have said to me, it's a blessing in disguise because I got the ability or the opportunity to think what I want to do next in my career. And for some, they make a pivot. Others, they think, okay, I want something a little more meaningful or more aligned with what they really, really want to do when they take the time to assess. So you obviously must have done so. And then because you were with Daimler in Germany and then HP in Switzerland, in Zurich, and I know obviously then you moved to Australia where we are now, but what was your thinking? Because you were in Switzerland when this happened, and so what was going through your head? How did you feel, and how did you take control?
Yeah, so then many people would wonder why from Switzerland, which looks like it's very safe and secure, you earn a lot. But of course, it is an island in between Europe. We should not forget that. And at that stage, I've been traveling over the years a lot. So for the last role, I had maybe 4 years in a row where I spent 90 nights per year in a hotel. So it was always ongoing. But I thought, where is a place where the country is large enough, where the marketplace is small enough that I do not need to always travel? And with the passion for this traveling, I thought Asia Pacific might be a great chance. So out of the redundancy timing, I thought 3 months travel in New Zealand might be great because you do not go down under for just 3 weeks to really switch off. And I thought after 16 years and living in the good, I actually have been training my former HP team on social selling not too long ago. So then I thought the best way is to have first some time off. That's obviously, so that needed to be there. And then after this one, I really thought, what do I want to do? And I put 7 cities on my map where I potentially would look for employment. There would be Vancouver, Denver, Boston, London, Singapore, Auckland, Wellington. Don't ask me why Melbourne and Sydney were missing. Also Seattle was missing. So I picked these countries where are great companies in software. I started in software. I moved to hardware. So I thought if I would like to avoid doing the same of the same, I better go to those places where it makes sense. And in the world on IT, in particular also in the test market for the world, which is Australia and New Zealand, it is software and services instead of hardware and commodities. So then I wanted to go back and look what I have done in the past. I put an assessment of all what I've been doing in terms of the technology, but also the transferable skills to figure out what is it that I actually do, what I can do well, and where I can help others to achieve a growth. And then I came on the idea, let's do this. So, but how to make that happen? It's just an idea to apply for jobs in Australia out of not having my own job anymore. That wouldn't work. So I thought, what is missing? I put an analysis of the pros, the cons, what do I have? What would I like to learn? And I thought a management training would be great. Australia is known for good education overseas. So then I picked a leadership advanced diploma at the Australian Institute of Management. And it felt like reborn, going for 2 months to Sydney, living in 12 different Airbnbs to figure out the different suburbs, because Sydney is a collection of villages. to meet with people from all walks of life instead of just those in the same industry. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that and got inspired on the marketplace, got inspired how does it work with sponsorship visa. And a couple of months later, it actually worked. And I got my visa within 11 days and moved within 5 weeks.
What an amazing journey that was. But you know what I really like there, Gunnar, is that you did an assessment. You were very analytical about the whole process and thought, well, where do I want to go? Where will they need me? What are the skills that I've got? What do I enjoy doing? What's transferable? What's not? And then what a smart move when you decided on Sydney to not just go and stay in a hotel or rent a longer term rental, but to go in lots of different Airbnbs in different suburbs in Sydney as well, to really get a feel of the place, to see if you really like it. Because Sydney in one suburb can be very, very different from another suburb too. So it sounds like you did this very strategically. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then so when you decided, okay, I'm in love with Sydney now and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to make sure that I create my career here, how did you go about it?
So after I decided for this and I found a role in a software provider in the ecosystem of HP actually, so it was a distributor of particular parts of HP software. So it didn't lead me too far away from my past at HP. It was in the area of software and I've been doing some things in that area, which was good. So then what I figured out, in order to make Sydney working for me and me contributing, I would need to know more people. Because some people go as an expert somewhere, stay for a year or two and don't connect with the locals. I wanted to avoid this. So then I looked into networks such as Internations, the world's largest expert network. They're professionalized to meet with people who are in other companies. That was perfect. Not to ask for a job, but to figure out how the market actually works. Where is something what I need? And then those contacts over there thought they can place me as a candidate and get referral points. Also an option. So this I've done. I went to some meetup groups. I went into BNI, Business Network International, to also know the small business arena and build a network. And what really helped on it also was the connection to leaders in the space. So when I'm in selling, I should, of course, be connected into those organizations which are promoting and advancing this profession of sales. Mm. So I found John Smybert from the Sales Masterminds Australasia and a couple of book authors like Tony Hughes, Kian McLaughlin, and I built close relationship to them, attended those events, and there were all of the professionals who really could tell me how the sales arena works here in APAC and in Australia and New Zealand. That was perfect.
Mm-hmm. What a smart way of going around it. And then once you built up your network and you expanded, and actually I think that's where I first met you, at one of my networking events at LinkedIn Local Sydney. Yes, and LinkedIn is such a fantastic platform to really build your network and expand your network and reach out to your target audience. And I know over time you became quite an expert on LinkedIn as well. So how did this amazing role at Hootsuite come about?
Yeah, with Hootsuite it was very interesting because on one side, I truly like and live and breathe LinkedIn. Not in a sense of promoting and pitching, I'm actually rather against that, but more in helping others. The small business arena is same as also in sales professionals. I actually even created my own webinars and networking events myself to help others in that area because it connects to my former childhood dream as a teacher. Not as a government teacher who has safety and security in the job, but for the passion of teaching others. So that's what I've been doing. And I thought, okay, there was these, I've been using Hootsuite 3 years in advance to schedule posts properly, because that is the only way how I would be able to even change the images on a post which is scheduled, which natively does not work. I really liked it. And I had the impression that on Hootsuite is so much knowledge in their own academy, in all their blogs, what Hootsuite is doing. And that when I saw then there is a job opening in the channel, and I'm someone who likes this reseller referral channel a lot. I've been working in my last roles in channel and direct, but mostly on the channel side as well, to work with Deloitte, for example, when it comes to the larger partners and also to some smaller ones who can really connect the dots between vendors and customers. So that is the ecosystem I'm in. And I saw this role at Hootsuite as the first time here out of Sydney to build a channel. And so that fits very well. So then I basically submitted this application, while on the other side, one person out of my ecosystem that I built earlier and built the relationship over years in Sydney suggested me for the role as well and placed my referral to the country manager back then. So then it came from my side and from their side. That was perfect.
Yes, and to have a referral of someone who already knows you, likes you, trusts you, knows what you can do, that certainly helps when you're looking for a new position as well. But from all of the things that you've learned with regard to the social selling and leveraging LinkedIn and expanding your network and getting to know business owners and all of that, it lends itself so well to the position that you have now at Hootsuite, yes? And tell me, what are the things that inspire you most about what you're currently doing?
Social media is changing a lot. And particularly the last year, 2020 shows us with the pandemic that social media is surely here to stay and drive huge changes. How people consume their news, how people are interacting with each other. So that's there. It's fantastic to be part of that, as I have been using LinkedIn in the activities of social selling by myself to find my new place here. So it's basically very much the consequence of what I'm doing that I can utilize Hootsuite for. And the beauty on Hootsuite is also we have an ecosystem of different adjacent functions which are connected with partner companies. How would an organization know how to write content, how to schedule content when they do not do a social listening in advance? How do organizations in the finance industry can ensure that whatever they are posting is also compliant? So there again, partners come into play into Hootsuite, and I'm looking after partnerships, not just to resell Hootsuite services, but also the other way around. So partnership for Hootsuite is a two-way street, not just one way as in most other vendors.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, you're doing such a great job there, because I see your LinkedIn posts and they're always really educational and they're very collaborative as well, and very generous in all of the information that you share. It just makes such a difference. And I've certainly learned a lot about Hootsuite, and also learned a lot about you as an individual and the type of person you are, and that you are very sharing and giving as well. So now, if people want to find you, I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it of you anyway. Where is the best place to find you?
The best place is to find me in my living room, which is called LinkedIn. So
that's right.
LinkedIn.com/in/Gunnar Habitz. If you know how to spell my name, then you find that. So that works very well. And there I'm posting quite regularly about at least 6 days a week, allowing some break in between, and different type of topics that I'm posting about. And I really like to see LinkedIn as an engagement platform, not only a job search platform. It is really that place where we can show our personal brand, who we are, what drives us, what motivates us, not just for the corporate work, but also from a personal development point of view.
Yeah. What I really like about LinkedIn is that it's so much more than a resume, because it's interactive. You can really get to know, the real you, if you know how to use it properly, and through all the content that you share, because content creation, only 1% of the members on LinkedIn actually are content creators. And so the people who do create content, you've got such a huge market that is, virtually untapped when you think about the number of people who could be creating content as well. So great job with everything that you're creating. And I'll make sure that I put the link to find you, Gunnar, on my show notes at janejacksoncoach.com/podcast, where you'll be able to find this podcast, and also obviously on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and YouTube and everywhere else that you can find podcasts too. Thanks for sharing your story. I find that really inspiring, because everyone's got a different journey, but you took a really strategic approach to your career, and you did a lot of self-assessment and analysis before you really launched this brave move across, an entire the entire world in order to get to Australia. And you've made such a success of it, and a very nice person to boot. So thank you so much for your time today, Gunnar. I really enjoyed finding out more about the story, and I learned a few new things too. So we will see you in the networking circuit.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Jane. And good that you are so active over there that we had the chance to connect some years back. And good to see you always again.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure, Gunnar. Bye. If you enjoy Your Career Podcast, please hop over to iTunes and leave a review, because that's how we get to reach more people. And if you need help in your career, go to www.thecareersacademy.online, where you'll be able to find lots of online programs as well as one-on-one coaching with me. See you soon.